What's up, level uppers? Andrew here with another one of these motor vehicle dash cam video blog journal diary things. So the last 2 weeks I've talked about Final Fantasy VII Remake, but I've found out that level up colleague Dean Marchese has added it to his list, and therefore I must refrain from Final Fantasy VII talk for the foreseeable future. But I actually want to talk about something different this week anyway. I want to make a recommendation to you guys. A lot of our viewers and just a lot of the world right now is huge into Game of Thrones, right? But Game of Thrones is not starting at the normal date this year. It's not end of March, it's not early April. It's somewhere in June or July. However, The Leftovers Season 3 is coming out on April 16th, kind of to fill that gap, and I'm here to tell you The Leftovers is the show that you should be watching this spring. And if you haven't watched it at all yet, you should catch up on Season 1 and Season 2 because they're both phenomenal. It's one of the best shows on TV right now, and really one of the best shows I've seen in a very, very long time. The showrunners behind it are Damon Lindelof and Tom Perrotta. Tom Perrotta actually wrote the novel of the same name. Now, that might be a flag for some people, Damon Lindelof specifically, because he is the guy behind Lost, a show that I love so much, but it didn't provide answers to a lot of people. The mythology wasn't satisfied. For me, that show was about the characters and the closure there, and it answered the questions that I wanted. So I love Lost, but I do understand people that had a problem with where that show went. But I'm here to tell you with The Leftovers, it is about an event that is a mystery, but from the very beginning you get this vibe that it's not about getting the answer to that mystery. It really isn't, and that might seem like a cop-out, but let me tell you, let me give you a little gist here. I'm not going to go into spoilers. I'm going to kind of summarize things, especially the first season. The Leftovers is about a rapture-like event. They call it the departure in the show. It's where 2%, I believe, of the world's population suddenly disappears all at the same time. Now, obviously, the characters in the show are speculating on what happened. The whole world is speculating on if it's religion-based or if, science-based or, some experiment gone wrong, who knows. But the mystery is there for the characters on the show, but us as the viewer, you can quickly see that it's more about the inspection of how people react to this catastrophic, dramatic, tragic event in the world. I mean, 2% might not seem like a lot, right? But that's like 100, what is that? Oh man, I'm going to draw a blank on this, but I think it's like 150 million or something along those lines. 150 million people suddenly disappear. That's insane. Imagine if 150 million people just suddenly up and disappeared. And what's really crazy in the show too is the type of people that did disappear. Like people on death row and jail cells, little children, or people on their deathbeds, like elderly. It doesn't matter. Every type of person disappeared, which makes it seem like, oh, it can't be the rapture then, right? Because the rapture is about when people that are worthy of heaven are taken away from earth during the apocalypse. So yeah, you're speculating on that. But the main characters of the show being Kevin Garvey, who's played by Justin Theroux, and before I go into more detail, Justin Theroux is freaking awesome in this show. Freaking amazing. And who would have guessed it too? This guy started off in comedy, wrote things like Tropic Thunder and Zoolander, and now I can't believe how phenomenal this guy is in the show. He has amazing range, is what I really am surprised by. And on top of that, he's a cool motherfucker, man. Holy shit. Everybody has a man crush on Justin Theroux right now, and I think the show has a lot to do with that. He is really, really good. And his family, being him, his wife Laurie, and then he has 2 children, Tom and Jill. A lot about their reaction to the departure. None of them did depart, but that's kind of the point, right? It's not just about the people that lost somebody. For instance, Nora in the show, another character, she lost her husband and her 2 children. It's very rare to lose 3 people so close to you during the departure, and she did. So it's about inspecting her tragedy. But on the other end, Kevin Garvey didn't lose anybody technically, and it's also about how his family is handling this whole thing. Because you have to imagine, even if you didn't lose somebody close to you, this type of event would call into question faith and religion and everything that you might you might believe in the world. It would call that into question, and it would really have a drastic effect on things. So the first season focuses a lot on that. It focuses on the characters and their reaction and the advent of this cult called the Guilty Remnant. They wear all white, they smoke all day, and they're meant to be a constant reminder of the departure, because it's now 3 years later. First season takes place in New York, and people want to move on. Like, this is kind of their coping mechanism, right? They want to forget, they want to go on with their lives, but the Guilty Remnant is here to say that's not okay. This event needs to be remembered, and we're not going to let you forget. And it's interesting too, because at the beginning you're not quite sure if you want to hate them or not. They're very dislikable because of some of the things they do, like heinous acts that they do to remind people of the departure. But at the same time, you're like, maybe these people have like a higher understanding. Maybe they're in communication with a higher power. Because why would they be doing all this stuff? Why would so many of these people joining this cult, some of them who didn't even lose anybody in the departure, go this far? So that's a great question in the first season, which is personally my favorite. I love the first season for that inspection. And I'm not going to go into any more detail on that. The second season shifts and it goes to Texas, where it's about a town that didn't lose anybody in the departure. I believe, as the show explains it's a huge rarity, especially considering the population of this town. For them to lose nobody, it's like something weird happened here, and it becomes a tourist location for that reason. People are like, oh, maybe this place is special, so if the departure happens once again, this is where we want to be. Maybe there's something in the water. And that's the sort of mystery of the second season, which is higher reviewed, which I'm not surprised by. The second season is amazing. It really is. I think it has like an 85 on Metacritic. The first season has like a 65. They're both very well reviewed, but the second season really is what hooked a lot of people, and I understand that. It goes to much more supernatural and metaphysical areas than the first season, and starts to delve into maybe a little bit more of answers to the questions that so many people have. Because I think the way it started with the first season, based on the novel, it makes a lot of changes to the novel, but it's taking that story and turning it into a show, I think was the idea of that's it. Like, we're going to do one season. It's going to be a great season of television, and we're not going to prolong this. But, they decided to take it further. There's a lot more stories they felt like they could tell within this idea, within this setting. And what's really cool, though, is that they change the setting at the same time. Like I said, the first season is in New York. The second season moves to Texas. And now the third season, which is coming on April 16th, that is moving to Australia. Another thing that I want to bring up with this show before I close off this video is the musical score. I think a lot of you guys know that I put a lot into the music. That grabs me. That's where the emotion comes. And since this is such an emotional show, that is so important. And Max Richter, who did the score to this, he's very well known for doing like these piano pieces, very somber. He nails it. And this is a show that wouldn't be what it is without the music, more so than really any other than I can say. I love Lost, and the music in Lost, especially by Michael Giacchino, is phenomenal. But The Leftovers, it hinges so much on Max Richter's score, and there's so many times where you'll start to tear up from the music alone, and you're like, why am I crying right now? I don't even know. This show just is such a tearjerker. It'll make you cry. I really would be surprised if you can make it through the first and second season of the show without at least tearing up. Let me put this in perspective for you. I brought up Dean earlier, the Beast from the East, very tough guy, right? He does not cry at things. From what he's told me, he's cried maybe a handful of times in movies and film throughout his life. Maybe when he was, a little kid, he cried more, but he doesn't really cry. The Leftovers has made him cry not once, but twice in the first 2 seasons. So that'll tell you, like, this show, it pulls at the heartstrings. Like, that is what it's all about. It's about the connections with these characters. It's about the emotion, the heartbreak, and everything that would happen after this catastrophic, tragic event. And you're gonna love it. I'm somebody that loves crying. That might sound weird, but I like kind of just sitting back and letting a show just wash over me and just like take control of my emotions and bring it all out of me. And I let it happen. I like that. I like that release. You might be different, but if you are somebody that likes to let out emotions and likes to cry at movies and television, holy shit, it's The Leftovers for you. I cannot recommend this show highly enough. You need to watch it. Take a break from Game of Thrones. It's coming back in June or July. HBO, The Leftovers should fill your spring slot this year. Watch the first 2 seasons on HBO Go or HBO Now or wherever you can, Kodi if you have to. Just watch The Leftovers and get prepared for season 3, because we're going to be talking about it a lot on Lights Up in the near future. And this season, again, I don't want to go into details, but they're maybe foreshadowing some apocalyptic type events. You know, if we're going with the rapture, after God takes up these people to heaven, the apocalypse doesn't come too far after that. And this season seems to be hinting at that, which is really exciting. Maybe we actually get some answers, because this show is going on longer than they planned. This is the final season, by the way, as well, which I think is really cool. They've already said that, and it's not going to overstay its welcome. I think it would have been fine just being 1 season, but have a 3-season show and to give the closure that it seems like they're going to provide, and have this, you know, this tight, concise experience. I think it's so smart of the showrunners to do it this way, and I'm so excited to find out where it all goes, and I hope that you guys are too. So please leave comments in the feedback in the area below. Let me know if you already watched The Leftovers, what you think of it, and if you haven't watched it yet, watch it and let me know what you think of it, because this is a show that is worth discussing. Thanks again for watching this video. Don't forget to like it and maybe subscribe if you really like our channel here, because it's not just video blogs. We got a whole bunch of other content with myself and my buddies here on youtube.com/The Level Up Network. Until next time, take care, and as always, don't forget to level up.